Hey champs, welcome back to another episode of the Yoga Biz Champ podcast. I've got a returning favorite and real deal expert with me today, my friend Connie Holen from Pixality Web Design. Connie isn't just a Squarespace website wizard, she's the go-to designer for boutique fitness and yoga studio. I've trusted her with my clients' sites and she knows exactly what makes a studio website work in 2025. What I love about this episode is there is so much actionable content. We're jamming on everything from everyone's homepage must-haves and 90% are missing to what to delete right now and to increase conversions. Plus we dive into why decision fatigue is real and what your website needs to do differently to cut through the noise and win trust in this AI age. This one's full of mic drop moments, so grab a coffee or hit play on your commute. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Yoga Biz Champ, and I'm thrilled to have a returning podcast guest, a good friend, a fellow consultant, and really what I consider to be the top person in website field in fitness business world. And that is Connie Holen from Pixality Design. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
It's great to have you back. And I'm also going to give you a shout out too. She's also got a fantastic podcast, which is Boutique Fitness Marketing Podcast. And it's everything to do with marketing for anybody in the boutique fitness world. And it's fantastic. So make sure you go give that hit a follow. And what's going to be fun today, Connie's just come on here to just jam. And really the plan is here. We've got a whole list of things that we are just going to hit today. And the idea is just to give you a ton of value for making some decisions on your website. And Connie knows everything about websites. So should we just dive in, Connie?
Yeah, let's do it. I think it's a fun time of year for that because summer, like a lot of people are, it's kind of a little slow where people start looking at their websites. And so, yeah, I think this is a great timing for this.
Yeah, get ready for the fall, for sure. All right, let's start with first one. The biggest mistake that you're seeing studio owners making with their websites in 2025.
Yeah, it still shocks me, but it's just a lack of location information on the homepage. And, you know, there's like just three simple areas where you need to mention where you are in the world. This like just for Google to put you in context on the map or whatever, you know, AI tools we're now using for search research. But like all of that needs to know where you are. Your biggest differentiator is literally where you are in the world. So I mean, I think it's just really kind of unintentionally hiding where you are on your homepage from Google and people.
I agree with that one because I mean, you and I look at a lot of yoga websites, and first thing I do is try and find out where are they located, and I'm like, oh my God, like it's not even on the homepage, like, and so when I work with people, I'm like, that top banner, it's like, hey, Vancouver,
right? Yeah. Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I feel like at the bottom too, to be able to get to the contact information quickly on the bottom of the page. I think people expect to go there and find it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's even the contact page. Like, I don't even think you need to clutter up your main navigation with a contact page. Like, I think people do expect to see a link to contact you in your footer. So yeah, definitely have that.
Those are the two things I go to a footer for. Instagram, I always think the link's going to be right at the bottom.
Yeah.
And the contact page. But I also think that when you're saying that shout out, so that really in that top banner, it should be very loud, right?
Yeah, I like to put the location in like a subheading. So maybe not the biggest, like I kind of tend to use that big headline as like an attention grabbing, like, ooh, this place is interesting to me. But then a subheading to there is where I think you're like, you know, hot yoga studio locations in downtown Toronto or whatever it is. Like, oh, okay, now I know what this is all about, like in just a split second. So I usually put it in like the heading 2, heading 3, like one of those secondary subheadings. But yeah, just really clear, like don't hide it.
Yeah. I'll also give that not web, but even in just advertising, if you're advertising your intro offer on a meta ad or something like that, immediately saying, hey, Vancouver, we've got a
Yeah.
yoga, but that 3 seconds just saying, so people know that that's my home. I actually notice on ads sometimes that they really target me. They're like Vancouver male over 55, and they'll do that call out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been cookied.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a good way to get people's attention to like cut
Yeah.
through the noise of like, everyone's sales, copy sounds a lot of the same. But if you're like, oh, this is actually near me, this is me, like this isn't just a generic ad or something. So yeah, you'll see that a lot in paid ads too,
Yeah.
the shouting out the location. So if you don't have it on your homepage, you're like just
Yeah.
hurting yourself.
Yeah. So everybody go and do an inspection of your top of your homepage, which they call, what's it, above the fold in old advertising terms, newspaper terms, above the
Hmm.
fold. It's like the first part you see. All right. Web visitors, have they changed since post-COVID and the AI boom? Are you seeing any difference there?
Yeah, I think there has been some kind of some shifts. I mean, not like a complete change of like people's buying behaviors are still about the same, but there have been some shifts about what people prioritize. And I think we're, within this AI boom that we're in now, I think we're just starting to see the tip of even more change on that. I think expectations for cleanliness and hygiene, they're now like
Yeah.
non-negotiable, right? Not that it
Yeah.
wasn't important before the pandemic, but now it's just so ingrained in all of us that those showing that in your photos, showing that your space is beautiful and clean and airy and
Yeah.
whatever you want it to be like is more important than ever
And
for a post-pandemic world.
so giving people that visual of actually they're going to see when they come in here. And I agree with the cleanliness thing too, because I think, I mean, a lot of people are over it, but there's still some people are very conscious about going inside of um, a four-walled, sweaty, deep breathing
Yeah.
space. And so for them, it may be a little bit more space. Matt's not as crammed in or something like that. But yeah, I think showing, and I think honestly, we don't know what people's quirks are.
Yeah.
As far as, I like cleanliness going to the gym. And the other day, what I like about my gym is they have towels and they have spray everywhere. That's what I love about it. So when it's not there, I'm pissed off for that whole hour that I'm there. And it's like going over in my head the entire time I'm there. Like, well, why is that guy watching YouTube channel and not doing the laundry?
Not bringing it. Yeah. And I think that is a fundamental thing that the whole boutique fitness industry is built off of, like, right? Like, kind of grubby garage gyms, the classic like big box gym, boutique fitness kind of emerged out of that as a counterpoint to that of like,
Yeah.
Beautiful spaces, an aesthetic, space, obviously a different vibe and a different workout in a lot of cases too. But it's not just post COVID, but I think it's just like it's non-negotiable now, and you have to show that. I mean, you don't have to have pages about your safety and your filtration system and all that. No one reads that anymore, but they just want to feel that this is a clean, hygienic, beautiful space to walk into. And if your photos don't show that, that's an expectation that web visitors have for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And then you mentioned something about decision fatigue.
Yeah. Oh man, I think we are just on the start of this, right? I mean, quantities of information. Anyone who's played around on ChatGPT, knows this. Like quantities of information are just everywhere. It's just so easy to get access to information and content, but that also, I think that puts clarity for sale. And I think that puts, gives someone who can cut through that just overwhelming decision fatigue in any type of buying decision. I think that gives them a leg up. And so what I mean by that is like, as a yoga studio owner or staff, people are looking for recommendations. They're looking for you to be the consultant in their wellness life.
Yeah.
And they're looking for like clear, easy paths. They're looking for you to get to the point, right? They don't want all of the, the big long pages about, the history
They're not going to
of
read it all.
they're not going to read it all. They want to know why your particular brand of yoga and your space is the best for them to reach their goals. And they kind of want you to get to the point, because everyone has decision fatigue right now. So
Yeah.
on a website application specifically, that means really be picky about the words you use in your headlines, because a lot of people are just going to scan the headlines. Also use things like accordion text. That's where you often see that in frequently asked questions, where there's a question and then you click on it, it drops down more info. So
Yeah,
kind of
let's
like
just stop there because I've seen those policy pages
yeah,
where it's just like this mass amount of text, as opposed to clicking on an FAQ and a drop down comes down and shows you exactly those
right.
points for that. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Squarespace does that really easily, doesn't it?
they do. Yeah. And we're even seeing that like on class description pages, like a little
Yeah,
more just kind of visual, like here's the class name. This is perfect for you if you're blah, blah, blah. And then there's just like a single accordion that says like read more, and it drops down, more of the description about the
yeah,
class, but it gives you the overview first. So there's a
I
lot of
love
different
that.
ways you can do it. And yeah, Squarespace has that accordion block that you can drop that in. You can use just a single accordion, or you can have a set of, a set of things on there too. But
Yeah. And a
we're seeing
simple
that as a
journey
trend
through
for
the
sure.
website, right? It's a very, if you want a simple journey through the website, a simple purchase process, but not overwhelm. And the same thing goes with pricing, right? Sometimes we go to these, websites on yoga studios where there's 20 price options. Or
Right.
my very first client had 38 class descriptions on their website, yet they were only running 5 of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Cut it, curate yourself, edit yourself. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the theme. And I mean, that goes into like, with the way that kind of modern buyer behavior is evolving too, like we're all very used to getting instant information and everything
Yeah.
being efficient. And like
Yeah.
you say, Chat GPT, give me a list of this, boom, you have it all right there. We're not having to, even go and do the research ourselves, much less go to the library and find things out, like we're just evolving in that direction. So like to your point where you said, a really clear path through the website and through the checkout too. If you just need to make those lines shorter, because we're demanding, as consumers, we are demanding efficiency and instant information. So like links, anytime you mention your intro offer, like you better be linking directly to the checkout, from there, because they're not going to go like,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting, let me go, learn more. You might give them a learn more path, but you also need to give them the direct,
Yeah,
direct
can
to
we
go
just
path.
stop there? I'd love to
Yeah.
stop there a little. Well, I feel that conversation has changed in the last year, where it used to be, and we're still doing landing pages. I mean, I feel like every studio has to have an intro offer landing page,
Yeah.
anyway. But advertising wise, I feel like there's a conversation going on whether do you send straight to the landing page, and that's so the ads job is to do one thing, send you to the landing page. The landing page job is to do one thing, send you to the checkout. So it's probably 3 steps, right? But there's a conversation lately about skipping that and having a really good checkout that has all the information on it already and going straight to checkout. I'm kind of curious of what you're seeing on that, because that is a interesting marketing world thing.
It is, yeah. And you are somewhat limited in that concept in general by what scheduling software you're using, and if you have the space to put that. So it's kind of a balancing thing. And obviously the lower priced thing you're going to get people to go direct to. The higher priced it is, you need a little bit more sales conversation.
Right.
So
like a retreat needs a little bit more of
of course,
what you
that.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A membership is going to be, need more than than a 3-pack class or whatever. So I don't think there's ever going to be a, like, this is the one way.
Yeah.
I think it is worth, giving them kind of like the shortcut. Some people are, just ready to take the action, and others need more. So,
yeah. Or even what we call A/B testing. Test if one works better to the landing page and one works better to the checkout. But yeah, I think it's interesting how that conversation's changed a little bit over the last while, though.
Because of that instant gratification that we're all, working towards.
Yeah. Authenticity and trust.
Yeah.
It's a new
So,
generation happening.
yeah, I feel like we've been talking about authenticity in marketing for decades. So that concept isn't new, but I do also feel like we are just on the verge of a major trust in business, like
The new
storm. It's
generation. Yeah.
brewing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about just all the things that you can do now with AI generated images and video, and like no one knows what to trust or what's real or what's not anymore. And that is going to translate to buying decisions, I think big time. I think we're just sitting in the beginning of it, but I think it's going to see a trend that we see playing out in a lot of different ways in the next few years. Things like, we used to just look at like your about page as more of kind of another sales page. And I think we're going to have to reevaluate that and like look at things like about pages are really to sell your credibility as
Yeah.
who's behind the business, what your founder's story is.
Yep.
Like I think that we have to kind of reevaluate some of those and put those trust indicators in place with actual, I mean, I'm sorry, people, if you don't want your photo on your website, like you need to get over that because we need to know. I mean, the consumers like want to know that they're dealing with real people in their community if they're going to a yoga studio. So I think this is going to be one to watch, but definitely something to look at your website through the lens of, I need to, prove my authenticity and that people can trust me and my business more now ever than ever.
Yeah. I often see those about pages really generic with no photographs or history or, if I think about if I was to do my about page for my yoga studio now, it would have that we'd raised $40,000 for the local hospice. We've put these annual events on that support the community. It would be the team pictures coming together. Like it's the vibe. And that same goes through, I see you talking on Instagram a lot to the camera, right? Which is not something we did 3 years ago, maybe as much. But I see you doing a lot now. And I daily am challenging my studio owners. You got to get over it. You are the owner. You are the one that cares about your place. Just practice and talk to the camera about your place because that's what people pick up on, the feels.
And you're going to see that, I think, more and more. I mean, now it's like you can have a avatar fake AI person, like you can audio record, you can write your script and you can have an audio, an avatar read your script. And I know that that's really, tempting for a lot of small business owners who didn't get into this to be, on video or on camera. But when you're a local business and you're, all about your community, like I think that's going to kill some businesses and, some good businesses, but who there's owners and their managers just feel like, oh, I can make a really polished looking video doing this. And then the trust factor is just going to kill their business.
Yeah.
So don't be one of those people, just get over it. And
well, I mean, it was 3 years ago. It was glossy brand. Right. Everything was just glossy brand, graphics. Now it's raw and real. And I would dare to say stories are equally as important now as glossy posts.
Yeah.
Shannon Crow, a fellow podcaster, I watch her walk through the snow in Toronto. She just talks to the camera about her thoughts to it. And so we go for a walk with her, and she goes, but we learn to trust her voice through that. And so I feel, I feel that, how do we translate that on a website though, as well?
Yeah. I mean, I still think, well, for one, if you have a brick and mortar yoga studio business, don't get sucked into using AI generated images to, because I'm sure people are thinking about trying that. Why not? It's cheaper than, having a photographer come in, and they may look beautiful, but that's the point, right? It's not your real space and your real people. Yeah. So for one, photo shoots are as important as ever. I would still think that a professional photo shoot in your space is well worth the money. And don't get.
And I dare to say they have a student that's a photographer in the studio.
Probably, but also don't take a look at the images on your site, but that main banner image as well too, whether it's an image or a video. And there's been kind of a trend, or at least you see people who chose that photo just based off of a certain aesthetic that they want. Maybe it's a clean shot of their studio that looks beautiful, or maybe it's just like a macro yoga mat or in a block or something. I just looked at a site today that had it was a beautiful picture of their equipment wall with yoga blocks and mats. That's a great aesthetic, and that photo can go on your website someplace, but that is probably not the home page banner image. That's not going to connect. It leaves people feeling a little bit flat. So I think, for one, we talked about the about page. That's, I think that is going to need a little refreshing coming up. And then two, that the main images on your homepage, how do you make it look like your actual space and your people?
Yeah.
Evaluate whether you're just using a pretty picture or whether it actually shows the personality of your studio at all. I think those are two real easy spots that we can start to build that trust up.
I personally love group huddle shots of students or teachers, and I love that. To me, those are really nice imageries that are real people.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I will say with that, because I just audited a website, that their main picture was a huddle group shot of their instructors. So they clearly all look like instructors. They're all wearing the same outfits. They're all in shape. It's beautiful, but you're not showing the person who's reviewing your website that they would fit in there. 100%. So I love it when it's more with clients or clients high-fiving or chit-chatting casually in the lobby afterwards. Those type of they're great to have on your website.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, what's one element you almost always remove from a fitness studio site that most people think that they need?
Okay, I have 3. Sorry. At first I was like, I don't know. And then once I started thinking, I was like, oh man, I have 3
hit
of
list.
these.
Connie's hit list.
Okay, so the first is fluffy placeholder headlines. And so this is things like welcome to our yoga studio, or, our classes, or even about us, placeholder stuff, right?
Yeah.
Usually if you just take that out and you look at the first regular line of the paragraph that you wrote anyway, it's a better headline. So just remove the fluffy one, take that first line and make that your headline. It's going to be more interesting, and it's going to hook people in a little bit more. I think we're just it's wasted real estate with just those placeholder headlines.
And I love that you gave an actionable thing to do this.
Take a look at that first line of your paragraph. It's probably pretty good. It's like when you first start talking and you're like, well, okay, and then you edit that out and then you get right into the meat of it. That's essentially what you're doing here. So,
all right, hit list number 2.
Okay, number 2 is, and I touched on this a little bit, but it's clean studio photos as your main banner image, or post photos of your instructors, as we've just talked about. Either one. Again, just kind of wasted real estate. That's great, and we did talk about how we want you to show how nice your space is.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the first photo that they see with no people in it, because we connect with people. We feel some emotions. We feel some energy when we see other people's faces and what they're doing. And so if you have a photo that's just your space and some mats and blocks, and there's no people in it, it just kind of feels flat and it doesn't pull people in. So main banner image, no clean studio photos. Use that photo someplace else, but have actually some people in it.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. And then number 3, God, I love Canva, and I love how everyone can make beautiful graphics on Canva for their social medias. But when you create a graphic on Canva that has text in it, and maybe that graphic is for your membership, and you're actually typing in things on that graphic that describe your membership, and then you export that image from Canva and you upload that to your website, you are killing anyone who uses a screen reader, which a lot of people do, even if they aren't completely visually impaired. They use screen readers to read through websites. They can't see the text that's on that because it's a picture. So there's a picture with words on it, but they aren't going to see the words if they're using a screen reader. And then 2, Google can't either. Google sees it as a picture. It's a PNG or a JPEG. So they are not reading the words on it either. Additionally, a graphic like that is going to look, it's really risky how it's going to look on a phone, if it's going to be readable on a phone, especially if you have fonts of different size in there. So as a general rule, if you are making graphics in Canva to use on your website, do not include words on it at all. I will take.
So what's the workaround?
So the workaround is to use a platform and the tools that are native to the platform. So on Squarespace, you can layer a text block with a photo underneath it. And you can even put a shape block in between the two things if you need to like darken the photo so that the text stands out. So you're going to actually build what you would be building on Canva on the website using the tools that are actually on the website. So anytime you actually are typing the words into your website, you're golden.
And that text will reshape to mobile.
Right. Correct. Yep. It'll resize based on different screen sizes. And you don't have to worry about that either.
Yep. Boom.
Boom. Yeah. And that also means you may have to like, be okay with not having things look exactly the way, if you're really comfortable in Canva. Yes, it is harder to customize and fine tune things on a website because of the dynamic nature of it. But you might just have to let that go. It's okay.
Great. All right. If you had to fix just one page on most studio sites to get more signups, what would it be?
That's an easy one. The homepage.
Boom, boom, boom.
I actually looked at several of yoga studio sites, their analytics for this question, and probably a quarter to a half of people only look at the homepage and then they don't move on.
Yeah.
So it carries a ton of the burden. It's linked to your Google business
I love
profile,
that word though, burden, because it is. It's like everything's on that homepage.
It does. Like you don't have to do everything. You don't have to sell everything on that homepage, but you have to keep them interested to click someplace else.
Yeah.
So the homepage, it is linked to from your Google business profile. So Google looks at it to see what you're all about. So it just does so many different things in so many different ways. So if you're going to do a little refresh of your website, spend the time on your homepage. That's the one that matters.
Yeah.
Don't get too like wrapped up in random other pages.
It is funny. I do feel like over a period that the home pages of yoga studios have become very similar. There's kind of, I feel like there's a kind of a formula that happened, which was kind of banner, a little bit of local intro, and then 3 boxes, intro offer, schedule, maybe workshops or something like that go off to, or teacher training. Do you feel like that's still a good kind of format?
I do. And my websites usually use just about that kind of format. And it's kind of proven. Not just for yoga studios, but for any business. And it really, when you think through the thought process, the decision-making process that a website visitor has, the first section needs to, have something to hook them, tell them they're in the right place. Like we talked about that image or that video, get them kind of excited about, they know what this is about. Then they need a little more info about what it is that they can do there. Then they need to see the specific ways that they can do things there. So that might be, private classes, group classes, retreats or workshops or whatever. So it really, the reason that format works so well is because that's how our brains, gather data. Like you start big and then you get a little more specific and then you get down to the, brass tacks. This is your intro offer. This is what we recommend. So generally, you can make that look all different ways, but in general, that's why kind of a structure like that works, because it works with the visitors.
Quickly directs them
process.
to where they're going and what they need to.
Yeah.
Great.
So you don't need to completely reinvent the wheel, but you definitely want the words and the photos on your site to look like, you don't want those to be able to be slapped onto another yoga studio's website. But a lot of the same structure is going to be there.
And there are tools to analyze. I know you used to use, I'm using a tool right now, but you used to use tools for tracking how people visit your site and where they drop off. And that's by adding kind of a bit of code into the site. And you can, the one I have, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I can literally watch a video of how they click through my site. It's wild. And sometimes I sit there going, like, that link didn't work. And it's like, I thought that would click, but they didn't get anywhere. It's kind of a little shocking watching someone's thought process through your website.
Yeah, the one I use is Hotjar. That's the one I've used before. But that's a great thing if you really don't know, or you want some data, especially if you're going into like a redesign. For one, you can look at the analytics, what pages actually get clicked on your site. And if you're on Squarespace, there's built-in analytics. You don't even have to go real deep into Google Analytics. But if you want even that more insight, like you said, to actually watch people navigate around your website, a tool like Hotjar, I wouldn't wouldn't be obsessed with it like every month looking at it, but like
Yeah.
if you're like, okay, well, I want to get some data and actually see what's working and what's not, or how far people are getting down the page of my site,
Yeah.
there's some really good tools for that.
Well, I mean, and also along that, you should be going and checking your website that it does what you think it should be doing. I'll give a great example of this. I worked with a studio owner that was here in outside of Vancouver, and their sales were down. And so I went to the website, and on their prices page, there was no link to purchase, like literally. And 6 months, that pricing page had 0 links. So the only way I could get through to this studio owner was on the Zoom call was, hey, can you go to your pricing page and show me how you, and she was going through it kind of fumbling. Well, this should go. And it was like, and she was absolutely shocked. I'm like, yeah, you need to go through your website as a customer and see, does it work? I'm going to add one more into that. My own Squarespace site, weirdly, 2 months ago, I logged in. All my fonts had changed. Hadn't done anything.
Right. Yeah.
But I hadn't checked it for ages. All of a sudden, my fonts were messed up. I was like, what? It wasn't even my font. And then this week, I logged it. I went to my website and went, oh, my colors have changed. And I haven't had changed it. Like the entire site's colors have changed. So anyway, that's just a good example to go look at your own website.
Yeah. And that, like, I mean, that's the thing, is that things do change on the internet and things do break, even if you haven't changed anything yourself. Like the font thing, that was, Squarespace added a bunch of new fonts. And so they archived some of their older fonts. And so it tried to, swap them out and find something similar. But especially with a platform like that, which is great that they do keep up with things, and they are, but you do also have to kind of like watch things too. I mean, I saw that, there was a bunch of my client sites that, all of a sudden, like if we put an extra button in their header, it was like misaligned. Like it's because they changed something in the back end. And so the custom code didn't, so anyway, and that happens with your scheduling software too. Like there's, ways that things like sometimes break. So yeah, definitely. I mean, a little quick look every once in a while is good.
Yeah. What's one small tweak studio owners can make this week to increase conversions from intro offers?
So, go check at least and make sure that you add a call to action section at the bottom of almost every page for your intro. So I see that a lot too, where, the intro is mentioned on the buy page, the pricing page, and that's it. Yeah. So, if someone's getting to the bottom of your homepage or the bottom of your about page or the bottom of your class descriptions page, chances are they're a new client. Your existing clients are not digging through your website to read about things like that. So the bottom of those like more informational pages, you need to have a very, a good, clear, like, here is your next step, like be a good host. Here's your next step. Here's your intro. So go add that to the bottom. You can add it in the footer if you want to be lazy and not put it on every page. That's fine with me too. But
you could actually, they could create what do they call them in Squarespace? A section or whatever. And then you could design that and then you could just put it on every page, right?
Yep, exactly. Squarespace has save sections. So if you design it once on a page, check that you like how it looks on mobile before you save it as a section, and then save it as a section. And then you can just go to the other pages and add it in as well. But I think just, a lack of calls to action throughout the site and just assuming that they'll find it on their pricing page. Whereas, if your intro is actually, if you're priced well and you've done the pricing exercise to make sure that your intro is compelling, that should be something that you want to shout out because it's a very easy thing to sell. So that, and then I also kind of thought, reviews, taking a look at what reviews you have on your website. And do you have some new ones on Google that are really great? The trend now is more for shorter reviews. So we should kind of sometimes have big, long kind of paragraph upon paragraph. There's maybe a place for that still, like maybe in blog posts, but, some short, spunky little fun, like 1 to 2 sentence reviews.
I like a picture of the student, name, and how they feel. Kind of.
Yeah. Like a little sentence, like, you can kind of pick the best ones out, and then add that around to where your call to action is. So they're looking at oh, 2 week intro. Oh, and all these people say they felt like this after it. Oh, okay. Like that's pretty compelling. And I say that about reviews too, because, I would not use like your reviews widget. A lot of times I get clients asking, you can put those reviews widgets on your website, like from your Mind Body Reviews widgets, or I think does Moments have one too? And there are different ones, but a lot of times those reviews aren't really all that helpful to a buyer. They're like 5 stars, love the class. Sally's a great instructor. Like, okay,
You'd be better off doing your own 5 stars with a picture of Sally.
Right. And I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
And but then pick out, something that actually means something to a new client. Like I feel lighter and my day goes better after class. Okay, that's
what do you think about video reviews on websites? I mean, talking of authenticity.
Yeah, I mean, love them if you can get them. Yeah. Not everyone will watch them, so I think you need a mix of some written ones. But if you get the video ones, you can pick out a sentence and then put it as text next to it too. So absolutely love them. I think that will be something that just continues to solidify you as an authentic, real business. Yeah. They're hard to get, but ask for them. Yeah,
and throw them up on social too.
For sure. Yeah, you can use them in multiple places.
Everyone talks SEO, search engine optimization, but from your lens, what actually moves the needle for a local studio?
Yeah, Google Business Profile Basics, and this is a free platform. You don't need fancy SEO knowledge to just get in there and give it some love. And this is nothing new.
I feel like people forget about it. Like they set it up and then
they don't do anything else. Yeah, I can't tell you how many studio Google Business profiles that I go to that I'm like, you're just missing information in it. Like you kind of, you set it up right when you were opening and then didn't go back and update anything once you were open, or they add new things that you can add, the Google ads, as things go by. So just open that up and look at it, add some new photos in there.
What content do you think really makes because Google wants you to put blog posts and like they want you to fill it with kind of content, right? But
I wouldn't worry so much about that. Make sure you have some good photos, for sure. Your business category really matters. So your yoga studio is a business category. I would make sure that yours is. Sometimes I see yoga studios who put themselves as like a fitness center just because they're like, because we also have this one other thing that we do sometimes. So like you want it to say yoga studio, because if someone's searching for yoga studio, that business category is really important. So, reviews, and that's the long game, but reviews are really, really important.
Sending people to the view reviews too.
Getting, that review velocity. So like a steady trickle, Google wants to see that's how a normal business operates. So you could do a push, but you really want to have just a sustained process for asking people for reviews. That's something you will not look back 5 years from now and think you have too many Google reviews. Yeah. It's just, it's gonna, no matter what the search landscape looks like, whether we're all using AI or voice search or whatever, they're gonna those reviews matter.
And side note, I was researching, I'm going to Dublin this fall. And so I'm there I'm there for 3 days, but I use Google Gemini AI because I thought, okay, because I'm usually on ChatGPT, but I'm like, Google has got all this review knowledge. And so it was slow. I got to say, it was a very slow process for AI, but it went out and went to Google reviews, Yelp, like all the different platforms, and it showed you how it was doing, compiled all the information, and then the summary that I got from that. So, we can go into this in a little bit, but AI is also becoming a search tool as well now as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Back on the SEO conversation. So your Google Business Profile, just the basics there. Nothing really has changed there. And then your homepage optimizations really can move the needle, especially if those things I was talking about, if you're not mentioning your location or you're not clearly mentioning your services on your homepage. Your Google Business Profile is linked to your homepage. Yep. It doesn't have to be your homepage. Most people link it to their homepage, but whatever it is that you have linked to your Google Business Profile, your Google kind of looks at your website. It peeks in to see what that website is about to help decide whether they want to show you on the map or not. So it all kind of relates. Outside of that, those reviews, getting external link, making sure that you're listed in local directories. Those are all things like you were just talking about, the Gemini and all the AI tools. They go look at these directories to answer people's questions, and they look at, reviews, and that's all the stuff that like just builds up your, what's the best yoga studio in my neighborhood question credibility. Keep working on those. Like don't look past all the old school stuff, which is making sure that you're listed well in your local directories, that people are linking to your site from relevant other sites, that your Google business profile is good. Like that stuff is still going to carry you into this next stage.
All right. Do blog posts still matter for yoga studios?
I love this topic. Lots we can talk about blog content.
I know it works for because you have great blogs. I know it works for your strategy.
It does. I mean, but my business is very different than a yoga studio. I'm a big fan of, content strategy like that, long form, for a business like mine that works with clients from anywhere in the world and who is niched based off of specific business types. However, for a local business like a yoga studio, I think it's very low down the marketing priority list. There are so many other search engine optimization things that you should be doing that very, very few studios are actually doing before you get into writing blog posts. So those things that we just talked about, making sure that the key indicators are in place, the directories, the link building, like all of that stuff, absolutely do that before you start worrying too much about blog articles.
I have a yoga studio in Australia, Vanny. She has she inherited a website that a lot of blogs were on, and she just carried on writing the blogs. And she tells me how great these blogs get her SEO. But none of them are local clients. They're really interested in her Ayurveda teaching stuff and the subject she's doing, but they don't get her local clients.
Right.
But her website gets a lot of hits.
Yes. And I had a client the same way. They were spending thousands of dollars a month for a couple years to a marketing agency. It made me so mad looking at it. And they had lots of blog posts and everything. But when I pulled up their analytics, I was like, all of your traffic. Yes, this marketing agency every month would show them how much traffic they were getting. And it was great. I'm like, all of that traffic is from a different country, not even like your state, much less, a different state away. They're never going to pay you money.
Not less 10 miles around your studio.
Right. Yes, exactly. And I mean, in this business had no online, if you have an online studio, like virtual studio, okay, yes, maybe that is it is a very, very different situation than a local business whose core money is based off of local members. So I do tell studio owners, like if you like writing blogs, like there are 3 like good reasons why you might write blog posts. And so as a studio owner. So if one of these does sound interesting to you, you can definitely make it work as a good marketing strategy. The first is for retention. Actually, it's for retaining clients. So if you, get a lot of the same hesitations, or your brand has a certain perspective that you want to get out there, or you have frequently asked questions that clients ask, if you write a really well, written article answering that question
to specific people,
your clientele,
then
you look really smart, or your sales team looks really smart when someone's like, well, I don't know, I've been thinking about trying Pilates. What's the difference between Pilates and yoga? And I just came up with that on the fly. That might not be a great one, but, and they can say, oh, our studio owner wrote a fantastic article about that. Here's the link to it, or here's a QR code with that article or something. So you're like, then the person, in your studio is like, oh, wow, this place is really well researched. The, studio owner knows her stuff. All that. So I think blog posts, getting those articles out there can be really good for retention and for just, for your sales conversations within your studio. It also, if you as a studio owner or someone on your team wants to be positioned as an expert, to be the kind of spokesperson for your studio, get bigger media attention, go on local news, whatever, be considered an expert, they either need a personal website, or you can do it through the studio site, but they kind of need a place where they can get that thought leadership and get those ideas out into the world. So that then you could pitch yourself, to be on the morning talk show and talk about wellness trends this month or whatever. So That's another one too. The third one is if you can find these opportunities are kind of rare, but if you can find local tie-in topics. So like you were saying, they were getting a lot of traffic on stuff, but none of it was local to them. So if you can find a topic that you have a point of view on that relates to your services and a local event, then that's kind of good blog post stuff too. So you just have to go in. If you're going to have a blog, you have to go in knowing the realities of it and having a strategy that involves
that's a slow burn.
Items.
It's a slow burn, right? It's not a direct sell, but it's again going back to that authenticity. This is truly it's meaningful to them. But I think where a lot of people might miss the sales parts in there is maybe not having a call to action at the end.
Yeah.
If you're interested, click here for intro off. I mean, just getting that in there, or even during the blog, linking off to things like, our restorative class, and then linking off to, maybe the description of the restorative class or something. But using some links in there to throughout your own site.
And the other way linking can help you is if you start to create some goodwill with other businesses in your area. So say maybe you're like, here's our best places to walk your dog, and you link to some other businesses or, something. Here's our favorite.
I had a community corner. It was a page called Community Corner, and it was all my partners in the area, the physiotherapists that we recommended to people, the chiropractors, because as yoga studios, we get asked, my back, my this, that. So we're always recommending. So we had, very mutual partners that we linked off to. Yeah.
And those outbound links aren't as valuable to you as people linking to your website, but they do show that you know what you're talking about in your community. They do show like a network of community relevance that Google likes. So, again, lots of strategies that blogs can be, but big picture, don't just start blogging articles about your favorite smoothie recipes and expect that to bring clients to your yoga studio.
All right, let's talk
you've seen
AI.
it.
Let's talk AI again.
Okay.
One of the things, how are people using AI to streamline the design process and contents? Like how is that changing? I mean, I know ChatGPT is my best friend. It's literally up all day. It's like my brainstorming buddy.
Yeah. Well, people are using it to write their websites, which is not a bad thing. But it's a skill. I mean, prompting and interacting with ChatGPT or AI is a skill. And I mean, it's just like Googling is a skill, really. I can find just about anything on Google, but I know, a lot of people struggle to find because you don't know the words to describe what it is that you're trying to find. So it's kind of the same thought with ChatGPT in those. I mean, if you're just like, help me write my homepage for my yoga studio, like you're going to get kind of flat, boring garbage. And so, for me, for my process is one of my big projects this summer is I give my clients a content workbook to with actual like old school writing prompts for like how to write it. I'm revising that content workbook to also include ChatGPT prompts to help them good copy, because you can get some good copy. You need to look over it and make sure it is, actually has the heart of your studio in it, but not all like, yoga studio headlines that ChatGPTs are going to give you are going to be good. So just because ChatGPT gave it to you doesn't mean it's good.
I think
so you have
one
to
good
work
rule
it.
of thumb is on a good prompt is say what is the result that you want. I think that's where a lot of people miss out. Is like, what is the actual result you want at the end?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people miss that in the prompt. Just write me this blog post, but you have to be a lot more specific. I'll also go as far as setting up in your settings. You can put so much information about you in the settings in ChatGPT. It's the bottom left. And if you put I've got a whole thing. I'm Michael J, Yoga Biz Champ, podcast. It's got this whole essay in there about but it's also got my tone in there. And so I think that's important for studio owners to not miss that the tone of how they talk is really important in their prompts.
Yeah, one of the kind of hacks that I like to do kind of to get that is just go and make a Google Doc or whatever and just cut and paste some of your best reviews. We've talked about reviews a lot, but just go get the words from your clients, people who love you, who've been going there, who talk about the transformations they had in your classes. Like just, you don't need the names. You just need a Google Doc of a bunch of those words. And
or even screenshot them.
Yeah. Well, you need to be able to cut and paste them. So yeah, I would cut and paste, put them all in a Google Doc, cut and paste it, drop it into Chat GPT and say, these are some reviews from my best clients. Tell me what makes me special as a yoga studio. Tell me what the transformation that clients have. And so you get Chat GPT to kind of interact with you on that. And then you can save that in your settings, or you can, anytime you say, you're working on your website copy, say, help me, write some new headlines for my about page, use the words, use similar words to what my clients say, so that I can attract more clients like them.
I love it.
Here's some reviews, for example, and you just paste them in. So then, they're telling you what your business is known for in their own words.
Yeah. One of the words you used there was transformation, which made me think about, I've been talking about this a lot lately with my clients and a little bit on social media about the old days of $59 offer, or $39 for 2 weeks. I mean, that is part of the messaging, but I feel like the most important thing there is, how are you going to feel after these 2 weeks?
Yeah.
The transformation.
And why 2 weeks? And, some of the things like, you get to try all of our classes, you get to try all of our instructors and find your fit, find your, how you're going to feel best. Like it's like, why is $59 for 2 weeks a good deal? Tapping into that.
Yeah. All right. We've covered a lot. In respect your time.
I love this stuff.
All right. we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire now.
Okay.
Homepage header, bold statement or calm invitation?
Depends on the brand, but I lean towards bold statement.
Okay. Example.
I want that headline to grab me in the feels a little bit as the visitor. So I want it to say something like, you're going to make me write a headline here in my head. Something more like, escape from escape from your daily grind, or,
right.
I mean, that's really sounds really fluffy, but it's kind of like bold, like it's like, oh, I feel seen versus I feel like calm invitation is more just like, you're good, I'm good, we're all good, come on in. Like, I want you to grab me.
Yes. We're super soft.
Yes, you're super soft. I want you to grab me and be like, yes, I need this in my life right now. Like this business gets me. And that's the feeling I want to have. That's why I say bold.
All right. Pop-ups. Ooh, yay or nay?
Oh, nay. I hate them. I do.
Yeah. All of them?
There are subtle little ones that are technically pop-ups that like slide in the bottom corner or something. I like those. I like that type of movement, something that's overlaid on the top of the website. Okay. What I'm referring to on the like whole pop-ups is like it covers the screen. I will tell you a quick story on that one. I was getting ready to get on a consult call with a client site, and I looked at her site beforehand. And then I was talking to her and I was like, do you have an intro offer? And she's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, I don't see it anywhere on your site. And she's like, oh, it's in the pop-up. I didn't even read the pop-up. Like pop-up comes up, I X out of it and I'm looking at the site.
And some people have pop-up blockers.
And yeah, exactly. So like for sure you cannot rely on the pop-up as the only place that this critical piece of information goes. But like, I don't know. I just feel like I love it
when I get the same pop-up on every single page I go to on the site. I mean, that's the best. That makes me want to stick around and find your schedule every time I go to every page.
I know. I would say there are so many more subtle ways to...
Well, Squarespace does a really nice job of that top banner.
Right. The announcement bar. Yep.
That's quite nice. It's subtle and it's right in your face.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And there's even there with their pop-up, there is like a bottom little window that you can do. So, I mean, you can play around with those things. But I think also like the classic, like, well, pop-ups work. That's what everyone says, right? Well, do they work for some businesses probably, and some like email subscribers, but like you are trying to build a relationship. You're a yoga studio. You're trying to like, you're not just looking for the quick info. Like, I just need your email. That's it. Like, I'm trying to just kind of, it's not the relationship you're trying to build. So I'm going to give a big old nay on the pop-ups for yoga studios.
Big hero image or video. So for most people might not know what hero is, but hero is the main banner on the page at the top of the page, right? Yeah.
Usually it's full width to width.
The image or video.
Yeah. I love the video. I love the video kind of montage. I think it's modern. It helps show energy. It shows diversity of people, diversity of services if you have more than one class type. So I feel like it does a lot of work to make everyone feel like they're in the right place right away. So
video, my favorite was when Jill Agonius owned Soul Seat Yoga several years ago. She's been on the podcast, but her video that she had back then, it was fantastic. As soon as you came on the site, it was a beautiful video of in her studio, but there was every shape and size immediately in that video, and it looked welcoming, and within 3 seconds you could tell anybody would fit there and be comfortable. Like it gave the feels, it gave the vibe, it without words. It was just
and that's what you're trying. That's what the job of that big hero image or video is. Like, it's just, I think it's just a lot easier to do with video. I mean, yes, you have to get a good video, but I love it. Love the video these days.
All right, wrap up question. What's one thing every studio owner should ask themselves when they look at their homepage today?
Going on the theme that we just talked about, like, is the first look at my website, is it interesting? Is it compelling? If I was brand new to this business, would I want to scroll or click to learn more? Or is it just kind of like blah and boring and like every other business in the wellness fitness industry?
Yeah, I think a lot of what we've covered today, all the topics around, a lot of them really come back to the homepage.
Because like that is the one thing that everyone's going to see is the top of that homepage. It's the one.
The journey easy.
Yeah, probably at least a quarter of the people aren't even going to see anything other than that. So like, make sure that maybe you just need to go spiff up that photo, replace the different photo, get some video, change the headline, just work it a little bit.
And Connie will definitely link off to your website, your podcast. So in the show notes, those will be there. Are you taking on new clients?
I am. I'm booking. We're recording this in June, so I'm recording for September
June
now.
2025.
2025, yes. I'm booking projects for September now. I usually book a couple months out. So, and the fall usually does fill pretty quick. So, if you're kind of wanting now's a good time, whether you hire me or some other web designer, but if you want a new website by the new year, this is when you probably need to be getting on those calendars. So yes, I am taking new project clients, of course.
Great. Well, we will link off to that. And you've got the podcast. You just want to say a bit about your podcast?
Yeah, Boutique Fitness Marketing Podcast. You can go check it out. There's 2 seasons up right now. I'm in between seasons right now. Still TBD what I'm going to do for season 3. We'll see. But yeah, 2 seasons up right now. That's just a place where, my core service and the work that I do every day is mainly with websites and then all the things that touch websites. So that podcast is a place I can talk to people like you and other experts in the industry that we don't just talk about websites on that podcast. We talk about all the
email automations. I saw Catalina was on there. Some really great
all the other things that kind of relate to your marketing and your website. So go check that out. It's good.
And I'm also going to say, I send a lot of people to your website because of your blog posts. You have really, I think on your website, you go down to the bottom to find the blogs, I believe.
Yes, they are.
But there is so much valuable information in there about landing pages and just, anyway, I quite often send my clients to your site just to go read. I'm like, oh, go learn from Connie. She's already got it all put down here. So yeah, definitely everybody go check that out. And if you want to book a call, honestly, Connie, you are the top of the industry. Like, everybody just thinks very highly of you. And I think part of it is time I've sent anybody to you, it's been how easy you make the process. I feel like, we can kind of try and wing it ourselves, and we can do it ourselves, or, we can get the fast track to get in there and have it done right the first time. And I think that's where you really excel.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, studio owners, you're great at doing all the things that you do. Web design and development is probably not one of them. So that's where that's where I can come in and kind of help you through what you don't know and advise you along the way. So that's why clients like working with me, I think, because I'm, a consultant in this industry too. So it's, you don't have to come with the fully developed website plan. I'll help you kind of create it. So
thank you so much. And I can't believe we've talked for 70 minutes on this topic. It's a long podcast.
I know.
Thank you so much. I adore you, Connie, and we'll have you on again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. It's fun as always. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, champs. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to this channel. It means a lot. And if you're ready to open your own studio or grow your current one, visit yogabizchamp.link/YouTube to book your free strategy call with myself and explore my starter studio and grower studio packages. And you'll also get access to all of my free Yoga Biz Champ resources, yogabizchamp.link/YouTube. And you can check out other insights and follow me on all social media platforms at Yoga Biz Champ. See you next time.